Be advised, mature content ahead. This podcast is brought to you ad-free thanks to the Legion of Demons at patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like what you hear, there's much more at patreon.com/NOTLP. Join the Legion. That's patreon.com/NOTLP. And now the show.
How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Hey, welcome to Night of the Living podcast.
Welcome you.
Yeah, this is going to be a special day today. We're still doing Halloween specials. Up first, Andy will review the Shudder original Spiral. Then our main attractions, one is picked by our good friend Ben Buckingham, who is joining us from Australia on Zoom.
Ben!
What's up, Ben?
G'day all.
Oh my gosh.
It's good to be up over instead of down under for a bit.
Yeah, up over.
It's
Kinda
called
like my eggs.
Up over. So we'll be talking about Route 66. There was an episode they did in their third season called Lizard's Leg and Owlet's Wing. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think I got it right.
It was a lot of words.
And it has some classic horror icons in it, but we'll get more of that later. And then we'll be discussing Shayna's pick of Halloween specials, which was the sequel to Mr. Boogedy, Bride of Boogedy from the Disney movie, whatever, Magical World of Disney. Michael Eisner's gig.
Wonderful World of Disney.
Wonderful World of Disney. Thank you.
I was just thinking about they did one called Bigfoot about Bigfoot. And I was thinking about that today because I don't know that anyone remembers that or remembers it very well. It had Candace Cameron in it.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. And Bigfoot.
The real Bigfoot?
Well, I mean, the costumes were good.
Yeah.
So maybe.
I've discovered I am a 70s, 80s Bigfoot film junkie.
Nice.
I would like to admit this, acknowledge my sins. I may have forced more than 3 people to watch Cry Wilderness and caused numerous post-traumatic stress disorders.
You be proud of that.
I almost wish we were videotaping Ben right now because he's delivering all of these words of wisdom with his Louise ears on.
This is true, which I love.
And they're just bouncing around.
When I got really bored last year and was working nights and had no life, I started experimenting with chat roulette because that's how hip I am.
Yeah.
And after a while, I was just like, oh my God, so many penises, sick of this. So I put the Louise bunny ears on. I'd put a fox mask on and I'd sit there and I'd do my knitting a scarf. And those guys would click off so quickly.
I was going to ask how many more extra hard dicks did you get after that? Like I thought it would help, and it increased them threefold.
Quite the combination of fetishes.
Hey, Ben, have you seen that movie Creep?
Oh, of course I've seen Creep.
Yeah, we just watched it last night. And
you just watched Creep?
Yeah.
Netflix, what's his name one? Yeah.
Mark Duplass.
Yeah.
Mark Duplass. I've seen that, I think, 5 times now. And each time I'm still getting like new ways of interpreting or looking at it.
It's a great movie.
It really is.
I have to watch Creep too. My son really recommends that one as well.
No, I need to revisit it.
Andy told us that wasn't worth our time, but
Colin hard disagree on that.
whoa.
I've only seen 2 once. I had much the same reaction to it I had Creep the first time, and I've loved that more every time I've gone back. So I'm got to give Creep 2 another go. But one thing that doesn't get talked about enough with Creep is it is hands down the best jump scare film in 50, 60 years.
Yeah, without using score, which is an
or
achievement.
throwing cats. But yeah, it's just like, it just goes to those jump scares. And yeah, they're simple and easy, but they fucking get you.
They do. And they're not empty. They're not empty calories because they build up to what you're moving towards.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I would love to do like an episode about the Creep, at least the first Creep movie, if not both of them. But like, I think the one big takeaway I had from it is how he can vacillate between being so threatening, but then being so sympathetic that you can see yourself giving in to that, giving him another chance every time. Where you're like, oh, I see why you gave him another. It's not one of those things where you're like, why would you go meet this guy? He's like an open wound, and you're like, anyone with compassion would probably give him another shot,
right,
at each step because they just think he has this harmless mental illness. But not so much.
I do it because I would be polite. I don't want to say no to people.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a large part. I actually think that's a large
That's why you'll
part
get
of
murdered.
it too. And actually, I think that's an expiration of just like social awkwardness causing people to end up in life-threatening situations because they didn't want to. They just kind of were like, well, I don't want to be mean to this dude, and it's weird.
It's victim blaming.
Yeah. It's also that he's like the personification of the internet. It's like, yeah, like you said, 1 minute it's like, oh, fuck this dude, Jesus Christ, I got to get away from this. The next minute, like, oh, okay, well, this, hugely emotional moment, terrifying moment, empty moment. It's just like the internet flying at you as a person.
So that's a pretty brilliant interpretation.
Yeah.
Ben.
Well, Ben, it's funny you bring that up because when you talked about how you were wearing your bunny ears and your fox mask while knitting,
That's what made me think of it.
it just reminded me of that scene where he's just wearing that wolf mask and swaying side to side.
Oh yeah.
I was laughing and scared at the same time, and that's
Would wear a peach fuzz mask in a second.
well, you know how they always say like comedy and horror are two sides of the same coin, right? And and usually like you'll see a movie that's a horror comedy where there's actual jokes in it for when you're laughing, and then there's horror moments for the horror element. But in Creep, it was all combined into the same moments.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I knew it's supposed to be. I actually never saw it. I mean, I understand that it's meant to be funny, but like I was so in the moment that.
Well, it's like nervous laughter.
I felt like it was always like I actually never found any of it funny. Like I saw why it's funny. Like I get why people find it funny, but for me, I was so in the situation that I was like, I would be out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, sir. I don't have that. Like, I don't have that. Oh, I would just be like, I left something in my car. I'm gonna get it. Like, I would try to be gracious, but then I would get out. I was horrified when the peach fuzz mask went on and he blocked the door. I was like, oh, I know where this is going. We're good.
So Ben, is there something you want to tell us? Are you a serial killer?
Look,
I'm never going to the park with you.
In our first episode of the podcast we're doing, I may have cut out two different sections where one of my co-hosts said, this is the point at which we say Ben is really not a serial killer. I was just like, no, we don't need to be opening this whole podcast series with me having to say, I'm really not a serial killer, I swear. Let's just...
I promise.
Promise.
Well, if we're doing a horror podcast, maybe, but we're sort of trying to embrace all walks of life. So I let myself have my one cannibal film reference a week, and that's it.
Hey, Ben, tell everybody more about your podcast. So, because I don't know if all of our listeners are familiar.
Yeah, well, I've been really bad at even promoting it, and kind of semi-deliberately. It's after years of working in events, doing festivals and all sorts of things. It's nice to just be like, oh yeah, we put an episode out. It's there. It's good. They'll pile up. One day you might marathon them. This is fine. And the podcast is kind of created a bit with the same intention, that it was a lot of people I knew were just really smart, interesting, have good backgrounds, weird, interesting tastes. And whenever we get together and just talk, you ramble for like an hour, 2 hours, and all sorts of things, and all the random stuff that comes up that are related or periphery or whatever. And I kind of wanted to try and do something like that, which is kind of hard to even describe what it is other than that. And I'm doing it with two friends. We all met at university and all graduates, having done film studies and other various things. And
Ben froze up.
God damn.
we're not going.
There he is.
Oh, you
We
went away
lost you for just a second. It was. You said, yeah.
Friends you met at university.
Australia.
And
Internet
then
Australia was still bad.
and
So I
then
had a couple of friends at university, and we kind of wanted to get that energy back of being like the histories and contexts and ideas and theories, not just like what happens in the film. In fact, we very rarely ever discuss plots. It's all just this kaleidoscope of things. And each episode we do a topic. So we did national cinema for our first one. We just did witches in cinema. We've done cars in cinema. We've got a documentary in cinema coming up. We're doing the uncanny in cinema for our last October episode. We do that fortnightly. And then the alternating weeks, we do an interview slot. So we've already interviewed Christine Tan and Roger Stone, who were the producers, writers, and director of Aussie-Australian horror film The Marshes, which is a Shudder original now. And then I've got an episode coming up, or might have dropped by the time this has gone out, with Charles Piper, who's director of Malacostraca, an excellent horror film. And he's been doing horror shorts and working with in animation with some pretty amazing people. And we had a great chat this week. So it's kind of very film. I'm very horror weird. Ben, my co-host, is a bit more art weird, and Steph is coming out of a Fast and Furious Marvel sort of fugue state at the moment. We're in a very eclectic mix that are across all areas, and we just get together and kind of chat. So our episodes do tend to be hour and a half, 2 hours.
Right.
But I loved when you guys always went over into the near 3 hour territory.
Those butt numbing episodes.
I don't miss that at all.
when you're in the zone, it's fun.
So Ben, I bet a lot of listeners grabbed a pencil and they were ready to write down the name of your podcast and where to find it. And you were just I'm just going to leave it abstract, and I want you to search via those keywords. Find it organically.
I did actually once have an idea for a film review podcast. It was actually going to be a murder mystery.
Yeah.
But we were going to bury the murder mystery so deep it would take like 10 episodes before anybody even started to clue into it. It was really hard to figure out, though, and I never got very far.
That would be fun.
Kind of a fun idea.
So the podcast is called Video Vortex Podcast. That's Video Vortex Podcast. We're mainly on Twitter and Instagram because we're very anti-Facebook, so we're just being like, screw that. Even I know Insta's Facebook. Let's have this conversation later. So on Instagram, I think we're Video Vortex, and I'm not sure. I just set it up. And Twitter, we're Podcast Vortex, which I didn't know that Twitter was doing like a lucky dip for your name these days. But if it's a lucky dip, came.
It's because
we lost Ben for a second again.
Sweet. I'm just going to take over the whole universe and become the vortex of all podcasts.
There you go.
He came in at a great moment, though. Even though you did pause for a second, you came in and said you're going to take over.
You got it.
That's fine. That'll do. That just me out of context sounds like me in context, apparently.
Yeah, that's true. So Patreon, we have Origins episode 115 that Kelley. We haven't recorded the intro yet, but we'll be doing that. So if you're a patron, check that out.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
I want to welcome a new patron, Cruel Rabbit.
The rabbits are the cruelest.
And I want to thank
animals.
Brian Krause for becoming a Beelzebub this week.
Oh, thank you.
Brian.
So,
thanks very much.
Very, very exciting.
And thank you, Cruel Rabbit.
Yeah.
You could be as cruel as you want.
Sorry about
Freddie,
the
will
chimes.
you turn off your goddamn notification?
Man, I will as soon as I figure out.
You think Cruel Rabbit's his real name?
Yes. Cruel
What an
Rabbit.
unfortunate name.
What if his real name is Cool Rider?
The coolest.
Wasn't that
Cruel or cool? Cool or cruel?
Cruel?
Cruel.
Cruella de
Like
Vil.
Cruella de Vil, but a rabbit.
But a rabbit.
Without an extra L and an A.
My Do Not Disturb is now on.
Run, rabbit, run.
It sounds like if it was a trilogy, Cool Rider would be the first film, and then in the more difficult middle film, it would be Cruel Rapids.
Oh, yeah.
And then like the third film would be High Sailing or something. I don't know.
That's right.
I have ideas. Yacht Rockin' the World.
Yacht rockin'.
I would.
Do you think it's a coincidence
Rabbit 3.
that Ben has his bunny ears on the week that we thank Cruel Rabbit?
Do you think?
We're going to find out.
Synergy.
Yeah. We're going to find out it's Ben. But it's
Through
like
some, yeah. Through
it's
some.
like it's so deep. Like this is his way of letting us know that very subtly.
He was a cruel rabbit.
Somewhere in here, I have the big book of bunny suicides.
I hope that's not just a collection of Polaroids you took.
Ah!
That would be some creep level shit.
That would be nasty. We last night we had a fire in the backyard and watched Creep.
When you say had a fire, it sounds like a tragedy instead of like
The whole house is burned down.
Yeah.
Just left the
Because we had a fire once.
You fabricated a
Just
fire.
Yeah.
I was going to say, was it the dryer went up in flames?
Yeah.
And then you opened the episode with, well, we had a fire yesterday. Pretty much exactly the same as that.
Sorry.
Amy, you should be more scared about fire.
Yeah, after what happened.
You're so casual about it.
I was awake very late. Okay. I'm a little blur. We had
I hate
fire
to see you-
pits.
Yeah, I hate to see you in California. You'd be like, oh, there's a fire.
Okay, well that. But seriously, everything I'm wearing right now, because I haven't showered or anything, and I just rolled out of bed, smells like fire.
Yeah, my
Smell,
hair
can you
smells
guys
like
smell
smoke.
it?
Oh, that's the best smell.
I can.
I
It's a
like
good
it
smell.
too. It's
Love
a really
that.
good smell.
We had a massive blackberry bush in the backyard that I'd been ignoring for like 2 years. And so, of course, lockdown, let's do it. Come at me, bro. And like hacked into this blackberry.
Wait for it. Wait for it. He's gonna come back perfect.
Found so many things underneath it. It was incredible. I found a giant trough, so now we have a water feature. But
Oh, curb appeal.
I've got a blanket. Oh, so I've got this massive pile of blackberry crap, and it's so much more than I thought. And I just really wanted to throw a match to it, like just pour some petrol on it and just go like, "Fuck you, blackberries." But we're in quite a dense suburban area here, and everyone's home. So
Yeah. Yep, I know what you mean. Like our dog, our light colored dog, gets into the berries and comes in like completely stained. It looks like she committed a crime or something.
Yeah.
But it's sweet. It's cute regardless, but it's just a mess. I hate those two.
It'd be fun if you saw like a dead body in your backyard and you just thought it was berries and you just left it.
we've got a murder.
And then you
shed.
told the police, I thought it was berries. And they're like,
Why would he think it's berries?
No,
Sure
the
you
blood
did.
on Elsa's.
Oh,
No, I got it. I just think it was
I
a funny
didn't
thing to
get
say
it.
to the cops.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Just
berries.
I thought it was
It's
just
just berries.
berries.
I've got a very relaxed attitude to this not murder, sir.
Oh, I love
This
puns.
body wasn't buried. It was on top of the ground.
That I love. Yeah, so we smell like campfires.
Yeah.
Ben's here. Ben, tell me, because I didn't get a clear picture, nor did I do much work to discover this. But how popular is Halloween in your native land?
Oh man, this is like you know, I don't want to go into it too much because it's fucking 2020, but in the many ways in which 2020 was a son of a bitch that snuck up and bitch slapped you in ways that you never would have thought of until they were happening.
Right.
Last year was actually the first year that I ever gave candy to trick-or-treaters. Never had trick-or-treaters anywhere ever. But as I said, we're in quite a nice suburb here. We've been settled in for a while. And last year, suddenly, heaps of kids with their parents, and we gave out lollies, and it was like, hey, and wave it to the parents. And we're suddenly like, oh, we're the scary, weird horror goth guys on the street, and nobody cares. Yay!
It's a great feeling.
What kind of candy did you give out?
I have no idea. I can't remember. I think we actually did not have much. And I was like, wait a minute. I think mum gave me some Quality Street for Christmas, and like pulling, you know, because my mum would be like, here, this is for Christmas. Have it 4 months early and then buy me 2 more by the time Christmas got here. I think it was like that kind of thing, like dump you whatever we've got. We're not prepared because this has never happened before. Start emergency.
Old candy
And
cane.
so-
Turn the machines on. Get it going.
That is so cool, though. You got it on the ground floor.
Yeah, exactly. But then, like this year, that's obviously not going to be happening. So it was kind of like, blur. But yeah, that's kind of how popular it is. And in fact, last week, the Victorian Premier, the head of state, was asked about Halloween celebrations at schools for kids, where they'd be going ahead, because we've been in a tight stage 4 lockdown for, I think, 2 months now. And his response was, I don't even know when the date of that American holiday is. I was like, done. You've lost the Goth and the Celt vote in one group there, Mr. Andrews.
You're like, by the way, it's not just American.
We actually have a lot of Irish and Celtic immigrants in Australia too, and it's there. Anyway, so... You're looking at the responses to that, there were a lot of people being like, yeah, we don't need more damn American stuff imported into our countries. And it's just like, oh, you all suck for multiple reasons.
Like, this is the one thing you get. You'd be like, yay, I'll take that one. Let me separate.
We get all your God-bothering Christ ones, and you do hanging with us pagans over here. So it's been building, I think, about 15 years. It was about the time that we realized we could have another excuse to get shit-faced and have a party. And then Halloween took off pretty quickly in Australia.
Yeah.
Here.
So it's kind of like that first real spring, but like for you guys, we're heading into winter, we're heading into spring. It's the lead up to summer. Even
I wish that was when Halloween was.
It is the best.
I've been talking about this for years.
Oh, it has to be cold.
It's like when that like how you guys get the smell with the cold and the dab.
Yes.
When that first warm breeze blows in, you're like, October is here. And so again, it just launches into summer. Like I used to quite often take 2 months off work a couple of years ago over summer, and would just be like finish up about October 12th, 15th, and then just blaze through for 2 months. And like one year, I think I watched 74 horror films in October because I had half the month off. So there's plenty of us who have been dedicated to it for a long time. It's definitely been taken up more by the general public. I've even seen random decorations on people's houses. So
nice.
it's growing. But as I said, there is this pushback that still perceives it as the American holiday. And it's like, no. People make comparisons to Thanksgiving. It's like, oh, no, sorry, guys. No.
I'm glad to hear that it does my heart good, but I am super jelly that you get like the warmer times. I like I don't mind fall, and to me fall is Halloween and all that stuff, but I want to have those moments when
you want Summerween.
I want Summerween.
Why can't we have Summerween? We can have two. You can have two. There's no law that says that's not okay.
I feel like there is something special about it because as a horror person where it's all positives, it's like, it's not even that negative that it's getting cold. It's like October Halloween is better than Christmas.
Yeah. And I feel like it's the one holiday we can do okay with social distancing and wearing masks and blah, blah, blah.
Everybody's already wearing masks. Well, I mean, they're supposed to be. Yeah. So
supposed to be.
Frozen up again.
All right. Well, now I've learned something today.
Yeah, I've got, actually, can you see them there? I've got my little, they bought these little pumpkin lights on top and little skulls there.
That's awesome.
He's ready.
They've got.
Do you guys have pumpkins in Australia? I know it's a dumb question, but
do y'all got them there?
I mean, it's literally a half a world away. So, Andy, it's not the dumbest question.
I don't know the produce of other countries.
We've imported everything. We grow everything here, including things we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've never carved a pumpkin. I'm a pumpkin virgin.
Ah.
So
you got to get inside a pumpkin, baby. Take your knife in a pumpkin.
Two this big.
Just
my housemate and I
out.
are doing them this week. It's happening. I'm breaking my
pumpkin hymen. You're gonna want to. You're going to want to like just get your hand all up in them guts and just like rip it and tear it out. And then it'll just like, it'll be all over your hands and you'll feel disgusting, but also really powerful.
That sounds good. I'm a bit of a kitchen witch as well. So there's plans for savory and sweet pies afterwards.
Yeah.
And you can roast the
seeds.
They're delicious.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably actually just try and grow them because I'm trying to rewild my backyard and veggie garden it up because I got sweet all else to do and it's a big yard. So
we thought about doing that hard, and then we were like, "That's too much work."
Yeah, beginning of
we got
this,
lazy.
It was like April, May, and you're like, "Well, this might be going on for a few more months." Duh.
I was like, "We'll have time to garden now."
We could make a victory garden like other people are doing in the United States.
I had the same thought. Not about pumpkins, but gardening.
I love it.
No.
Our first lockdown for wave 1, I got 2 weeks in and dropped with pneumonia and ended up having a partially collapsed lung.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we thought you had COVID.
Scary. Yeah, my running joke for my life is when people ask me what I did for COVID first lockdown, I'd be like, I told people it was a wet cough, not a dry cough, and then proved it. Yeah, that was fun. And so I missed it. And then suddenly everyone was going back to work, and I'm like, I wanted to do so much at home. And so when lockdown 2 hit, I'm like, fucking yeah. Chance 2, bro. So yeah, I've been building garden beds. I've been like, tackling blackberries. I've gone garden crazy. I've been learning how to pickle things and growing seeds. And yeah, I'm taking this to like a duck to bacteria riddled water.
I just don't have that gene. I have the you know what would be cool?
Yeah.
And then I don't do
and
that.
then a nap.
And then a nap.
I took a little bit of care of my yard and then stopped.
Yeah.
And then every time I go back out, I'm like, I got to get back to those weeds. I'll do that tomorrow. And then I don't.
You had 2 weeds before you, and you had to pick which weed you wanted that day. Yeah. And one weed kept you from working on the other.
I'll tell you what's really good for gardening is getting diagnosed with ADHD and being given Dexies as your medication for it.
Oh, yeah.
That helps for gardening a smidge.
Imagine.
Well, actually, when my mum was like a couple of weeks in, was like, how are you feeling? Are they helping? I'm like, well, I can't really tell, but I'm really bloody tired and it's been a shit week. And I still feel pretty good. So,
nice.
Yeah, who knows? I'm on Dexies. It's fine. But it has. It's really like it was one of those things. Like, oh, fuck, oh, everything suddenly makes sense now. And I've got this diagnosis.
Sometimes pharma works. Like not always, but sometimes.
Well, even the podcast, like been saying for years, need to get something up and running, and finally got that up and running, got the garden going. So it's like, oh, sweet. Yeah, sometimes you just need a little help.
Yeah, and the combination of having a place to put all that and also having the right, help that you need makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to move into roulette so we don't keep Ben up until the sun's up?
Let's move into it.
It's okay. He's on Dexies. It's fine.
He's fine.
Let's roll into roulette. Have you seen
the size of my coffee cup? It's like half the size of my head.
You said coffee. It sounded like you were going to say something else with that hard C. But
have you seen the size of it?
We'll be right back.
Just waiting until I get the bunny pants off.
With Andy's review of Spiral.
Okay.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for straight-to-video Russian roulette. It's my first night there. I see this guy, and I was terrified. Your dad. Believe me, choosing to live your life loud and proud is about the bravest thing you can do in this world.
That robot's pretty good.
I'm Tiffany, your new neighbor.
I'm Aaron. This is my partner.
Hi. Wow. I'm just so happy we have some fresh faces in the neighborhood. Love is all that matters.
I'm not sure most people would actually agree with that.
I find it disgusting how false stereotypes shape public opinion.
Aaron, last night, I think I saw something. There's something not right about this place.
What are you talking about?
There was a couple that were killed 10 years ago. They knew, and they didn't say anything.
You need to stop thinking that everyone's trying to get you all the time. Marshall and Tiffany are good people.
Well, to new neighbors.
New neighbors.
We've been chosen.
Chosen for what?
Some kind of ritual. Every 10 years they make a selection.
Do you see that?
We're the selection.
That trailer reminds me of The Initiation.
What's the
Oh
initiation?
yeah, that was a good one.
That movie about the cult.
Yeah, the
suicide
corporate.
cult.
It was like a corporate cult, wasn't it?
Don't remember.
I don't think they were corporate.
No, it was that one with that guy that was on Game of Thrones. That looks like Brandon.
Remember they all went to the house together?
That's
and
the invitation.
The Invitation. I keep saying The Initiation.
That's funny because there is another one that is about a corporate cult that has a similar title.
Yeah, you're right. The Invitation. It reminded me of The Invitation. Thank you, Andy.
Yes.
So how was Spiral?
What was I lost my train of thought.
God damn it.
Ben. They just got shut in Australia, right?
Yes, we did. Finally. I think they were like, wait a minute, Melbourne's in lockdown and there's all these people crying out for all these horror films. Quick. And suddenly it was out 2 weeks later. That was like, I think 3 months ago. So it's brand new here and there's nowhere near as much as what's on over there, but we get all the originals. So that's more than enough for a little while. But yeah, I watched this one. I watched this tonight.
Oh, okay, cool. So we're going to tag team this review then.
Oh, damn.
Shit. We're going to send it down a spiral.
Spit roast that movie.
We're going to wobbly
Roast that
ages.
spiral.
So I wanted to like this movie a lot. I wanted to because it's gay and you know how I love gay shit.
What?
I've heard.
And one of my favorite genres of horror films is cults. So gay and cults. You'd think that'd be a match made in heaven, but
Gay
The
cult
trailer
shit.
looked intriguing. The trailer made me interested, so it's up to you now to turn me around.
My sister
the thing.
loved this movie.
after seeing the trailer, it made me dislike the movie even more because I was like, that trailer was unnecessarily long.
I got you.
It was a long trailer. It also felt like it gave away everything.
It reminded me of things that I'd forgotten that happened in the film, which I thought were fine the first time, but then now that I remember them in the context of what comes, really on the nose.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you bring that up because that's my problem with the film. Nothing happened.
Oh.
Because for a movie to exist, I think things need to happen.
That's that's
yeah.
what a story is. You're right about that.
Or even a train coming at the camera. That's enough.
Or even a thought. Something needs to happen in a thought.
I watched a film recently. Admittedly, it was only a short film, but it was like 6 or 7 minutes or something of a camera panning backwards and forwards across this person's bedroom. And each time pan across, they were kind of doing something a bit different. And it was from the 70s, very, very arty, very European. And nothing really happened in that film other than she existed. And yet, within the context of the formal makeup of the film, yada, 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 that was something. And you really felt it. And I didn't get anything like that from this film.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So that should be a blurb for this. Not as good as a 7-minute film from the 70s about nothing.
Well, you know, in cult films, you're supposed to like build up to this big ending because you're supposed to like leave like little breadcrumbs of clues about what this cult is about and what their end game is. But all this movie was people staring at other people because you just have these cultish figures looming in the background, just staring at things.
Okay.
And they think that it's supposed to build up like atmosphere and tension, but I need to know what the cult is about and what their end game is. And up until like an hour and 15 minutes into the movie, nothing was explained. And then all of a sudden you get this exposition bomb where it's like, whoa. And even when the exposition bomb went off, it wasn't really explained very well.
Oh.
Yeah, they mistook ambiguity. Didn't quite grasp the concept of ambiguity and instead just went for emptiness.
Ugh.
It's like, I know how to make this a really creepy cult. We'll make them mysterious. It's like, that's a fine line, but there is a line there.
Yeah, I wondered watching the trailer, like, you know, they show all those scenes of people just standing around creepily. And I do know a lot of like less talented filmmakers, or films that aren't as good will do that kind of thing where they'll just place things that look spooky with there's nothing behind it, or you never find out like, why is that lady standing in the road? So I wondered if they did that. I was really hoping you were going to say, and all these things added up to a thing that was really good. But I was also...
Well, it's funny you bring that up because there's one scene where on a bridge, and in the back on the one end of the bridge is just somebody standing there. And this couple is like, what is that? Let's get out of here.
And it's just a person standing on a bridge, right?
Yeah. And
It doesn't make sense in context of what plot we do find out that the cult has. Like no. Like, what did I miss something? Because did the gay conversion therapy thing actually have anything to do with anything? Or was it just in there?
I think it's just to hammer the point home of how they're different and other from this little town. Well, the story is
because I thought it was going to be some sort of legacy thing because it was this old dude was doing gay conversion therapies, and there was
it's just to hammer home the fact that the main character is different from everybody else.
Yeah, because
the story is that this gay couple, they have this daughter, and they move to this small town, and they're just kind of isolated. The main character feels like he's isolated from everybody, and then they just encounter this cult and get just drawn into the culty things.
Culty things, you say?
Culty things.
Sounds like Harvest Home.
The book you just read?
Yeah, I just read Harvest Home for the first time.
You've seen and read this story 100 million times.
Yeah.
So what was the party? What was it? Just a Eyes Wide Shut orgy party or something?
That party that you saw in the movie was kind of like a red herring. It was nothing.
Oh
yeah.
So there isn't even a cult orgy party.
No.
God damn it! What is the point of this?
Well, there's one scene where he looks into the neighbor's window and they're like holding hands and dancing in a circle. Because that's culty, right?
Oh.
That's supposed to be creepy.
I thought that kid was going to just like slam his head through the glass window in that scene, and then they just closed the blinds, and that summarizes this film.
Do you feel like
nothing to see here?
What's Hereditary?
Yeah, they were going. It was like watered down Hereditary. So
I was thinking like elderly naked people would be a new trend in horror, where they're just like
everything old is new again.
Yeah. Literally. Like, here's like shriveled up. It's like stuff you'd see in a gym locker room.
Oh, Freddy.
Is the new wave.
Speaking of like oddly shaped, what is with the amount of middle-aged white men in this who look like they've had plastic surgery and make the center of their face extra straighter and then just grown a bit of fat like they're just kind of, their fat is going out of the cheeks and just above their eyes, kind of trying to reach around this point of plastic surgery.
It's going to close it all off again.
Yeah. The two older male leads in this both have that exact same thing.
It's like when a cupcake bakes too far out of its pan.
I was a super chiseled action B player in the 90s and early 2000s, and now I look like I've been leaning my face against a wall for 15 minutes, and it's just squished in a bit.
Well, it's kind of refreshing to see the plastic look coming to male actors.
Sure.
Because you've seen that. You've seen that so often. You've seen that so often in female actresses when they get the surgery and they end up looking like
cat face.
The cat foot?
Cat foot? Gotta jump up on the cat foot. Gotta jump around, make jazz music.
Well, the argument for equality is that we don't have true equality until everybody can make shit films.
Yeah.
There you
go. This film's a step
up. Ba-bum.
I'm going to assume he said a step into a big pile of shit.
Was let's just leave it at that. About every couple of minutes, I'm just going bleh. And it's crazy.
This happens to me all the time. Don't worry about it, man. I roll with it. I get auto-tuned all the time.
This is a fucking marvel of technology, because we were talking to somebody who is on the other side of this very spinning ball we're on.
That's true.
Yeah.
And God forbid the internet
in the
freezes.
We could see
a little bit.
We could see Mars real clearly last night.
That's true. We could in the
same.
air.
We could hear last week.
Yeah.
It was nuts how big and red it was.
It's great.
Babylon's bottom.
It's so big.
It's
So
funny
red.
because with our podcast, we've never recorded an episode in the same room because we started it under lockdown.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting. The first couple of episodes are a bit rough because even though we were friends from way back, just adjusting to talking to other people.
Oh,
and because the internet is not great in Australia, we do it all just audio, no video. And so it's I think we should start doing video because anyway, I'm sidetracked. I'm already thinking like, what have I got to do to fix this? Fix that?
Yeah.
It's like
Zoom is great if you can, especially if you get their like pro account. You have unlimited time and.
I got screwed by the Rona, so anything that's free is fantastic.
Yeah,
I agree.
Not a lot of television being shot with the old coronavirus, but actually, no. That's I suppose I'm going to be back at work in 2 weeks on finishing up that Netflix program, Clickbait. So,
nice. Yeah, so you're on the editing side still, right?
No, I'm post production
Or post-production, in general.
Yeah, still doing the Russia's transcoding, so stress free but no sleep.
Yeah. Can you work from home doing that, or is it one of those things?
No, I have to get the delivery of all the materials to me and ingest it and everything. So no, but it's been kind of good to have some just downtime this year after 5 years of night shift and solid work. So.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's something I talk about with my therapist once a month about how I like having less things to do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. So many people who were like crazy weirdos who were struggling with life, when all this shit hit, it wasn't that they got better, but they were like, yeah, we're used to this.
Pressure off.
Whose life was nice and stable and normal were like, I don't know what to do. And
For me,
like, it's Tuesday.
The commute's the only thing that really is the big change for me, and like having the time back.
You work in your underwear.
Because also working in my underwear is great, but having the time back.
My partner has a one-piece dinosaur onesie, and she wears that in Zoom meetings and everything. But she works for a music record company, so I think they allow it a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't appear on video for work ever.
I do.
I do, and I hate it. Like, actually, I have very little to do. I actually have to kind of make it seem like I have more to do than I have, because I have two different sides that I work for. Like, and
are you okay putting this out?
Well, they don't know about this.
Okay.
I don't care.
No one even they don't know about this, and if I don't care. I'll tell them this to their face. I don't give a shit. I mean, they're the ones that don't have enough work for me to do. So
it's their fault.
So no, I just get it. But we have to meet. So even having a little bit more to do makes it seem like I have a lot more to do. I did have a lot to do this past week, so
I like to when I'm at home and on Zoom or Teams, you can see the creepy mask in the background, and I get a lot of shit about that. Your creepy mask, and I'm like, yes, my house. I have some fun things on the wall. Get the fuck over it. Anyway,
do you say that?
Well, I'm like, I got weirder stuff on the wall if you guys want to see it. And they're like, oh.
Good.
Yeah, my partner, when she was doing Zoom meetings, was like, are you in a library?
Yeah.
My stash.
So I want to get back to Spiral briefly, only to pivot to The Vow. Is anybody watching that?
What's The Vow? Is that the Nexium?
Yeah, it's on HBO Max. I don't know about Australia, bud.
It just seems too real to me. I don't want to delve into something so real and awful.
There's a cult about acid reflux.
I know, isn't that funny? It's a different kind of Nexium.
If you don't know Nexium by now. But a very recent episode where it was kind of where you guys were talking about it earlier, how there was a lot of empty kind of ambiguity about the cult in this movie and how they think it's scarier to be mysterious. No, you watch The Vow and you see this, you get like right in there and you know exactly what it's about and their every thought.
Yeah, I know what
it's
details.
More fucking terrifying what these people bought into.
It's almost like, in a way, I can see why people would be like, how naive do you have to be to fall for any of this lure?
Andy would in a heartbeat.
I get why people are joining cults. Like, I'm surprised I'm not in a cult yet.
The fact that we haven't had to save you or Mikey B from a cult yet is confusing.
It's a miracle.
At the same time, I'm kind of upset I haven't been recruited yet.
Right.
So
who knows? You might be in a cult and not know it. That's the thing about cults. The best ones. This could be a cult.
This could be a cult.
You don't know that, Andy.
I'm all prepped and ready to become a cult leader. I've just got I'm working on my manifesto still for a bit. I've the beard. I've really cut back a bit, but the beard's coming back.
You have the rabbit ears.
Rabbit ears.
It's like, it's all good. I'm ready.
This is the reveal. Ben is the cult leader, and we're going to let you in on Xenu today.
Oh, thank you so much.
Andy kept our fires burning last night. We had 2 fire pits. And Andy would just tend to the fires, and it was very ceremonial.
It was.
And it was almost like that was his station in the cult.
We're going to put him in the Wicker Man later.
The fire child.
Yeah, he's the fire child.
We're going to burn you with your own fire.
I was he who sits.
So I just smell like smoke all the time.
Yeah.
I was just thinking you could be called the Sit Lord. That could be
Sit Lord.
He is.
That's pretty great.
All right. Well, I'm going to guess that you guys do not recommend Spiral.
No.
No. I haven't watched any of the 1313 films, but from what I've heard about them, I kind of wished I was watching one of those while watching this.
Hello.
Because at least I would have been able to go instead of just being like,
Is anyone home? Hello?
Hello?
Is the guy who played Malik in Spiral, is he in like Drag Race Canada or something? I was trying
something
to
like It's funny you bring him up.
I really like him.
I didn't think he was good at all. I'm sorry. And he has his voice, and I'm not the last one to talk about somebody's voice because my voice is awful.
Stop it.
He has this like a male version of vocal fry, which is really annoying. I get that some people talk like that, but it just seems so fake and put on.
Yeah.
Like Kardashian like. And it's like, hi, I'm in Spiral. I'm gay.
A little on the nose, don't you think?
I have watched some really terrible films in the last month, and I'm just thinking back on Spiral, and I feel like it's just like MSG in a film.
Yeah, it just seems like it was just nothing. Like
it feels like it's packed. It feels like there's stuff going on. It feels like it's going somewhere, and then you get to the end, and you're like, I'm gonna grab a snack from the service station on the way home. You know.
But it's just good. I'm just glad that gay movies can be as mediocre as straight movies.
Seriously.
Damn straight.
Remember, they used to be fabulous.
Yeah.
Like
representation matters.
How many Spiral films do we need? Because isn't there like a Saw film called Spiral coming up? And there's
the Chris Rock
did a
movie
film called Spiral, and then
there was the Japanese movie Spiral.
There's the Japanese Spiral. I was just like, because when these announce this on Shudder, they like on Twitter, they don't actually tell you what it is. It's just Spiral, and I was like, oh, sweet.
And then there was that
Adam Green one.
There was that documentary about novelty pasta called Spiral.
He made that up. All right.
I love that one.
We should produce that.
We should.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ben, for watching.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching the movie with me, Ben.
That was fun.
Hey, I still
want to see it on some level.
Well, compared to like my review and Ben's review, you can tell he went to university for school. I mean, for a film.
Yep.
He went to university for school.
For school, you say?
I went to the place where we did blocks.
For film studies. That's what I meant to say.
Man.
That's how dumb I am.
You can absolutely tell that I learned to skim all of my quotes from the first 10 pages.
That's the way you have to do it.
As an English major, I applaud that and I recognize that. All right. We've got this here Jack in the Box. We're going to pass it around. It's not real, everybody. It's fake.
Shush, it's real.
It's real. We're going to see who's going to watch the next one.
It's as real as anything in this
I have
stupid
no
world.
imagination.
Don't take that away from me.
All right. I'm up first.
Oh, Amy.
Doodle.
You've got luck of the Irish.
I am Irish. So goddamn Irish.
Yikes.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Bet your ass it is. All right, I am going to watch and review a movie called Vampires versus the Bronx. It's on Netflix. Yeah. It's new.
That looks good.
It's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be like Attack the Block or something.
That's what the kids say. That. Three gutsy kids from a rapidly gentrifying Bronx neighborhood stumble upon a sinister plot to suck all the life from their beloved community. It's got a pretty kick-ass cast. I mean,
this sounds right up my alley. I'd like to watch this myself.
I see Zoe Saldana. I see Chris Redd from Saturday Night Live. I see Method Man, and I know him because the Wu-Tang
see London.
is France. So
I actually wanted to ask you guys, how has the transformation in streaming affected Russian Roulette? Because there's actually good films being released.
Amy still manages to pick bad ones, though. Isn't that funny?
Calm your tits down.
I will say this. My Russian Roulette experience has improved dramatically over the last few years.
It wasn't hard. That wasn't hard at all.
I have many, like I have Hulu, Prime, Amazon Prime, Shudder, Netflix.
Yep.
Like HBO. Like I have all these sources that we subscribe to.
Amy's job is a lot harder.
But like Netflix, I feel like has like a shit selection of like new straight to
Agreed.
So when I saw like a new one, I was like, all right, let's go for that. But
that's
mostly,
funny because Netflix used to have a really good selection, but something happened.
Their horror selection sucked. Yeah, probably Shudder.
Yeah,
and I feel like Hulu has put more energy into that too.
Because it's a bit different here with distribution things. So it's
yeah.
We don't have Hulu here, but Amazon Prime is definitely a main source for fucking awful.
They'll pretty much let you throw anything up on their platform.
They've changed that somewhat, which was an issue for a lot of indie filmmakers that we know.
Yeah,
like they were struggling because that was part of their
good source
bread and butter. Did I say enough during that string of words?
Sure.
Boogedy.
I'm trying to remember what film was I watched last week. Do you remember what it was, Andy? The one I asked you about?
Oh, the Urban Cannibal Massacre?
Yeah, an Urban Cannibal Massacre. It was where is it? Akron, Ohio?
Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio.
Oh, really?
That's up.
Yeah.
That's 4 or 5 hours away.
There's a chance we know who made that. That wasn't one of Enrich's movies, was it?
Oh,
I don't know who Henrik is.
I'll look it up.
He does a lot of stuff.
I actually I can't say that I really liked it, but I enjoyed it, and I thought of you guys while watching it because it's so primo, straight to video, like 2011.
Yeah,
this one was competent audio, good cinematography, editing, and I was like, okay, I'm fine with this because it's not good, but he's put a lot of effort in, and he's laying it all out like a smorgasbord, and I don't know that there's anything in the smorgasbord, but I'm enjoying the overall whateverness of it. So yeah, that could be a good. And then you'll all hate me because I've told you about this terrible. But in Cannibal Massacre, I quite enjoyed it.
I get what you mean.
No reason.
I get what you mean. I think people think, especially for me, that I won't give people the benefit of the doubt for just making a backyard movie because I've gone off on so many of those, but. I get what you're saying. If you see a movie like that where it's like basically no budget and they do things competently, even if the whole doesn't add up to something great, like I can appreciate, like you said, like if a movie like that does some things where it's like, oh, they do get that, like I can give it points for that.
You can handicap it, so to speak.
You know what I think of straight to video Russian Roulette? For me, the ultimate movies that encapsulate that idea of what that is, like what a golden oldie would be, is like Blood Diner or The Video Dead would be the top two, I think, examples of what that segment was for me when we first started doing it. Now it's evolved into stuff that looks like mainstream movies.
Things got cheaper.
I just rewatched one that I found for you guys with Russian Roulette. Was Blood Car.
Oh yeah,
I love Blood Car. I've actually shown it to a couple people in the last couple of years. I just showed it to my partner about a month ago, and it's still fantastic. That's a great straight to video Russian Roulette film. And Murder Party in the
Murder Party is great.
That's a classic.
Well, look at the career that's come out of that.
Room and True Detective and all those kind of things now. And he was a Russian Roulette guy.
Yeah. Anybody can be anything if they just try.
Try.
Look at us launching. We're launching careers.
I know.
The way I describe my film taste these days is I'm basically like I've been going for so long in weird territories that I'm the black tar heroin equivalent of cinema now. I just need something, and it's not for violence or sex or anything like that. It's just for fucking weird.
You just need it.
I need something strange. I need to experience something I've never experienced.
Weirder and weirder. It's got to be weirder, man.
Well, you're gonna keep doing that. It'll be like fentanyl, and then you'll kill yourself over something too fucking weird.
When you find like the shot on video punk Florida horror films from the 80s, that's when you hit like the golden vein. No, like I love Things. That's one of my top 5 films, and I've seen it.
No, it's so weird. It's
Wood Chipper Massacre is another good example.
Twisted Issues is my favorite one at the moment.
We haven't seen that one, have we?
Yeah, Gainesville punk kids shooting a horror film. Goes existential meta weirdness, and like all the night scenes are literally shot with somebody holding a torch on the action, and it's just wow, beautiful. Just I think you guys would really enjoy Twisted Issues. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't have a lot of the drag that most of those kind of things do.
Gainesville, Florida, being the site of a serial killer back in the 80s.
Yeah, also the number one place to live. Remember? It was like the America's number one town forever.
I like driving through it on the way to Disney World.
Yeah, my aunt used to live there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on, you goddamn yippity yappers.
We probably should, right? So the thing about Route 66 is that it was this crazy old show about 2 drifters going around the country.
This is what I love about this. The 60s was a time you could be a drifter and not be a serial killer.
Yeah.
They had their convertible. And when I was a kid and I would see this show in syndication, I don't know why, but I always thought they were either PIs or cops. But they're just dudes.
Yeah.
You know, like, you don't want to do this, right?
They're just dudes.
I literally have never heard of the show until Ben suggested this.
Oh, you don't watch it on Nick at Night?
Is it like well known?
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I had never seen it.
That theme song is pretty famous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Ben, what drove you to pick this?
I had never seen this either, and I'd seen that it had popped up on Amazon recently, all the series, and I was like, oh, I need to go back and check that out. The main thing I knew about it was this episode, and had never seen it, but in trying to figure out what to select, I wanted to do something that had personal history to me. But because Halloween's not a big thing here, most of the Halloween specials that I can remember are the ones you did pretty much in the first 2 to 3 years. So I was like, looking through English stuff because my mum was English and we grew up watching lots of English shows, but even the English didn't really do Halloween specials. So there was back and forth and everything. And then just looking up lists of specials and things, I was like, I've always wanted to see this. It's like Peter Lorre, Boris Karloff, and Lon Chaney Jr. I grew up with Hammer and Universal horror films, so all of those kind of classic figures popping around. And just actually this week, without even intending to it, I'd watched The Sorcerers with Boris Karloff and The Raven and then Black Sabbath.
Oh, The Raven's so much fun.
Oh, that was a childhood favorite of mine that I watched 100 times. So I was like, this feels right. Even though I'd never had the experience with it, it kind of crisscrosses across a lot of the things that I grew up watching that were the ways that I made Halloween for myself because nobody else was doing it. So yeah, it was fun watching it. It's an odd little curio in genre horror history.
Yeah.
I don't think it's talked about very much.
I just want to thank you for introducing this to me because this was a joy to watch.
Yeah.
It was so fun and stupid.
I knew this show from the Nick at Night days, which would have been like the early 90s, that it had a second wave here. But like I had never seen this episode. I didn't know this existed. It's called Lizard's Leg and Owlet's Wing, and it aired on October 26th of 1962.
God, that's so long ago.
It really is.
My mom was only 5.
What does the title mean? I don't understand the title.
I think it's like a
Isn't it
witchy
Macbeth or Jabberwocky? Something like that. It's a line from a play or a poem.
It sounds like toil, like part of the witch's speech.
I think it is, yeah. Wherever that I think it is from part of the toil. Is it from the toil, Boyle? And what's that from?
I think
Macbeth.
Is it from?
Yeah, I think it's the witches.
Well, that toil, Boyle.
Yeah.
I
suck at Shakespeare. It's my one like major, like I just can't. Sorry guys, I'm out.
Oh, that's okay. I don't like. I'm not into it either. I only know that because of pop culture.
It's Macbeth.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of exes who are massive Shakespeare people, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it just sounds like algebra to me, and my brain goes, bleh.
These were the ingredients that the witches were putting into their cauldron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really have any meaning or context other than to just be general spooky title.
Well, this episode is a lot of general spooky moments.
Yes.
In a way,
the whole point of it is that general spookiness is enough.
Yeah.
I think nothing made sense in this show. It was so dumb.
It reminded me of those early Horror Hound weekends where we had to share the hotel convention space with another convention.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So it was very much like the time was it Mary Kay or Avon?
There was a Mary Kay.
Yeah, Mary Kay was half of the hotel and Horror Hound was the other half.
Yeah. And the vets.
The vets.
Yeah. But in particular,
Halloween people was coined.
Yeah, that's right. One of those old World War II vets was like, "God damn Halloween people." He was mad.
I think we don't have as much experience of that here because we're a big country and there's not as many celebrities here. But that what you're saying, that because there's a convention going on at this hotel, and one of the convention rooms has been booked out separately by Boris Karloff, Peter Lorre, and Lon Chaney Jr. to discuss their business plans on filmmaking or some such.
Yeah, I love that. It feels like they're a council of they're the head of horror, and they're like, we have to decide what the next phase of horror is going to be for everyone else.
Yeah,
I think that is sort of the idea.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's all these other conventions going on. There's a group of women that apparently I love that cheap gag of the 40 or so women getting off the tiny minivan.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sure, cool. Well, this is where we're at. Fine. But so they're at this convention center and everybody's like, oh, is it them? Blah, blah. And they're like, are they real people? Oh my God, they're in person kind of thing. And it's interesting to compare it to the convention experience because it's probably a lot more like a weirdly real depiction of what their life is actually like, having business meetings about properties and trying to go avoiding people and just being guys.
It did feel like a
Just being
slice
bros.
of just sort of reality a little bit, for that.
Yeah. For something so detached from reality with almost no plot, it's an odd juxtaposition.
I like the Peter Lorre, I love that it's near the airport outside of Chicago. He's like, I know a place outside of Chicago.
Well, I was just wondering why they had to be so secret about this.
Right.
I mean, I guess that adds to the intrigue of this horror council.
It was endearing in a way because this was the ends of their careers when they weren't really household names anymore. There's a reason they were appearing on Route 66.
I said that last night, Freddie. You and me are on a wavelength. Because I was like, they got these guys because they could afford them. Because they did this with Bela Lugosi too, where they tried to make the other characters build them up like they were always they're like, oh my God, Boris Karloff, those ladies wouldn't those dudes would not have known.
The one thing against that, Kelley, is that this was the weird transition period where they actually were coming back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you were probably right
but I think that's part of the reason
Universal
why
sold all the back archives.
Yeah,
absolutely. So they're suddenly Dracula and Frankenstein were playing on TV where they hadn't been in circulation for 20, 30 years. That's what all those kids who are now 70 and 80 who grew up watching the Universal monster films, they did it on TV,
right?
And sometimes in shortened versions for hour slots. But at this time, they were actually coming back on a big wave. And just the next year, 63, is both The Raven and Black Sabbath come out that year. So Boris Karloff had two big films that were both pretty big hits, relatively to the other films. And Peter Lorre, of course, is in The Raven. And then, of course, around this time, Lorre gets the caricature in Looney Tunes, if you remember that. There's Looney Tunes caricature.
So great.
So there's they were, if anything, they were more present in the psyche at that time. And that's why, it's funny that this film depicts them as trying to make the most of that without ever actually stating or addressing it.
It's so true, though, that like I think it was brilliantly calculated because they were maybe performers that weren't always paid what they were worth if you were to compare them culturally to the actors we have today. And like this happened right in that same moment. It's almost like they had somebody really smart working on their side. They're like, Route 66 is this big hit. We can get you on there, get your name back out again. At the same time, it's like synergy before synergy existed, where this almost feels like one of those, like they used to do on, I think Will and Grace is a good example of a kind of stunt casting on TV where it was always calculated. You know, they're like, I know I'm making a movie, you know, within a couple of months of that show airing, like, and my name will be out there, my face will be out there. And it worked, even though this is an incredibly silly hour of TV.
Yeah. When does anybody know when Thriller was on air? The Boris Karloff TV?
That was in the 50s.
Yeah, because that brought him back. That's what made Boris Karloff a household name again.
That's why you know his voice too. Yeah. Because it's
the Grinch.
It's funny that he is both, you know, I'm sorry. Now I'm looking. It was 1960 to 62 that Thriller ran.
And it was contemporaneous to this.
Yeah.
So this was a busy period for them. They were actually doing quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting how the characters do, in some ways, build on their real personalities, in some ways on their archetypes that they tended to play. So Peter Lorre is very much the sniveling grifter, cannot be trusted kind of type.
I like that he just gave up the ghost on the secrecy like really quickly too. Like he was like, I am Peter Lorre.
He's got a role in it.
I just like the way he's like, sorry, I like his beatnik style of dialogue.
Well, I like that they had a sense of humor about their characters.
Lancaster Jr. is
because my favorite part of the whole episode was when Peter Lorre he just shows up at the convention in the secretary room.
Oh yeah,
and they pass out at the sight of Peter Lorre.
Every one of them,
and they said, they passed out at the sight of me. It's like, that was kind of hurtful or something like that.
He said that was a bit insulting.
Yeah, that's insulting.
Well, that's what they said when he checked in at the hotel. He's like, does anybody ever tell you look like Peter Lorre?
Yeah.
He's like, that's kind of insulting, isn't it?
Yeah. So I like that he has a sense of humor about his like distinctive looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the Karloff character, like I feel he quite often played, I was thinking back to his like 30s and 40s stuff when there was lots of mad scientists who were trying to do right by the world and it all went horribly wrong. And his character here feels a bit like that, where he's just trying to do the right thing, make sure they're all okay, but chaos is happening and his associates are terrorizing women in the corridors. But also like and I don't know, I think you guys know this, that Boris Karloff was one of the founding members of the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah, because of the back injury he suffered on Bride of Frankenstein, which is why he had the leg braces and had the terrible limp, and which caused him heaps of problems. He was almost walking normally in this one, which would have been one of the last appearances of the years. But yeah, because he had such a serious injury that affected him for life, he was one of the founding members who was like, we need a union for actors to make sure we've got right safety and precautions and insurance and all that kind of thing.
It makes me wonder about how much what hand he had in doing all these promotional style appearances too for everybody.
From what I understand, he was pretty happy to do that kind of thing. He didn't come back to the Frankenstein mask a lot, but he definitely made his peace with it and was more willing to get out there.
Well, they say
meet people.
This is the last time he appeared on screen in the makeup, right? It was on this episode.
I believe so, and it was the first time since 1939's Son of Frankenstein that he'd done it. So it's 23-ish years in between them, and then never again. So
I was surprised to see him in it, to see the mask on him, because I thought, that was sort of that's over with.
Juxtapose that against Lon Chaney Jr. in this, and the man can't stop being in costume and behaving just silly, silly.
Had to cover up all the signs of alcohol abuse somehow. So.
Seriously, his face is very. What's the word I want? Bloated.
It's very Lon Chaney. It just looked like Lon Chaney.
I always kind of love. I mean,
lived in look.
Yeah. I mean, it's tragic that he had that problem, but I also find that part of his life kind of endearing because he became as he aged, he became this really gentle figure,
top to bottom.
Yeah. But I love the Spider Baby era Lon Chaney Jr.
Yeah, they pretty much all got at least one film to go out on with that was really great and beautiful and acknowledged who they were. I always felt fairly positive about that. Bella's may not have been much, but it certainly was a lot in other ways. And Spider Baby, and even Vincent Price with Edward Scissorhands, and Peter Cushing gets a couple of really great last minute films. So it's good that they got that they lived long enough to see the next generation come through and be like, I love you, you're such and such.
Yeah. We're seeing that now.
I love you, you're such and such through and through.
I think we're seeing that now with like Tony Todd and that, and Robert Englund. Those 80s and 90s horror icons are starting to get cracks at interesting things right now in this moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if they follow through on all that. I don't know how the pandemic's going to affect all that.
Well, it's fucking everything up.
Well, yeah, and look at someone like Kurt Russell doing the Tarantino films.
Yeah.
He kind of disappeared for a little while. He's come back really strong, writing that I'm Kurt Russell. I can just rock up and do my thing.
He did that Santa Claus movie off on Netflix.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was fun.
I liked it.
I haven't done that.
He was a hot Santa.
The Bone Tomahawk was probably my favorite of his recent stuff. That was killer.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen The Hateful Eight.
That's a great movie.
So good.
It's real long.
So good. Yeah, because I was working the 70mm screenings of it at a giant single screen repertory cinema, and it was crazy busy for sold out sessions all day from open to close, 3-4 sessions a day.
That's the way I wanted to see it, and that's part of the reason I still haven't. Was
I know, and it was so beautiful seeing it. We actually, one of the great experiences of my life was we got to test the film obviously before it ran. Nice. And we hadn't even had masking installed properly yet, so we'd be watching it even wider.
Yeah.
Not properly, not how Tarantino intended, but still on an even bigger screen.
You can see a guy standing off camera with a boom.
Just about, yeah. And we did that at 3 a.m. one night with a group of friends testing the printer that had never been run before, brand new 70mm print, and it was yep, this is cool. This is when working in cinema is fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So Route 66, can you just expect more of these two drifters to just drift across the country, divvying up the ladies between them?
I felt like this episode
how that works?
This episode was a sillier version.
Was this a hornier version of?
Yeah, it wasn't usually like this episode.
Okay,
so this is not a good indication of what the series is.
Yeah,
but if you've never seen other episodes of the series, it's definitely worth checking out.
But like Amy said, is it them just trying to bang woman every episode?
They're just trying to smash.
They get involved in a lot of crimes and stuff. That's why when I was a kid, I thought they were PIs or something, or undercover cops. Which there's no reason I should have thought that other than they were gunplay in some of the episodes.
Even on the coming up next week bit at the end of the episode on Amazon, I was there's way more happening in that next episode.
Like a ton of action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny Amy brings that up because at the end of this episode, they're like, well, we're going to split these girls up. You get 19. I get 20. So I'm like, you're going to fuck 20?
Yeah. No, he has 20 chances.
20 chances. It's like a split the pot.
Yeah.
I just thought he claimed them. He was just gonna.
He might pull 2 or 3.
Yeah, I would say. You wouldn't have. I'm sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
I was going to say, how do we feel about Molly as a proto goth girl in knitted women's dress wear?
Yeah, she was a manic.
Was gorgeous.
She's a manic pixie dream girl before anybody ever thought about that.
Yeah. It almost exactly just in the more staid style and having to dress proper. Otherwise, yes, she's all sad and she's crying and she's emotional.
She's fucking weird.
She kind of stares like she's from another planet. Like she kind of has that otherworldly. For a second, I thought that was going to turn out to be like a twist. There was no twist. It turned out really.
That she's an alien.
Freddie thought she was a robot.
Be a twist that she was like a ghost. That she was haunting.
Yeah, she was giving off Stepford Wives vibes.
Yeah.
Look. Yeah, there's definitely Stepford Wives. There's a whole that there's actually like a horror film that comes after this. That's her running off and marrying her boss as the secretary, and everything. He's a psycho, and everything just goes to hell. And she's got to learn witchcraft to like harness his like evil. It's like it's actually really cool, and they did a really good job prepping and building into that. So.
I just like that scene at the end where her boss comes in and just whisks her away.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It turns into a horror film. It's like, what the fuck? He's kidnapping her.
Right.
Sex cult. It's Axiom.
All these things are revealed that like, but you're engaged. and he's like, well, I can get a fiance anytime, but I'll take you or something like that.
Well, you're the best secretary I ever had.
So you're going to be a great wife.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, thanks so much, Mr. Stevens. Like, I don't remember what his name was, but she doesn't.
She's still calling him Mr.
She doesn't call him his first name. It was just very
It's
silly.
like the end of An Officer and a Gentleman, but if Deborah Winger had just barely known Richard Gere's character at all.
Yeah, because at one point she's like, this is the first time we've ever kissed. So you're going to marry this person that you never had any romantic relationship.
She doesn't have a choice, Andy. It's 1962.
Yeah, things were different then.
He picked her up. If you can physically carry her,
He's got
you
money,
own her.
man. You just
At
go.
At least he hadn't kissed her before this.
Oh, that's a good point.
You would think that, there's something positive to look at.
It's very caveman where like the cartoons where they would drag the woman by the hair back to their cave.
It's like that movie Secretary with Maggie Gyllenhaal.
It's exactly like that.
Because we did Witches on one of the recent podcast episodes, I've seen a lot of horror films recently in which 90 to 100% of the male characters are god-awful pieces of shit. So watching this film, it was like, this actually does overlap quite well with the horror that I've been watching, that it's just like all of these guys are kind of slimy and suck, and Boris Karloff's the only person that we can trust.
Yeah. He's the hero we deserve.
I kind of agree with that.
I guess you were right. It's
again.
The supervisor was scary all along. I should have listened to you, Lon, and you, Peter. He just snatched her up and ran away.
Oh God, yeah. I watched this and Spiral back to back, and they were oddly similar experiences where I constantly felt like I'd looked away for 30 seconds and missed something really important, but then I hadn't.
Very strange.
Yeah, it's a fluffy fluff. Speaking of fluff,
I'm going to say quickly that the Boris Karloff thing with the real life stuff, it's interesting that he's the one that's pro real monsters, because 5 years later he would do Targets, where he's playing a version of himself who's sick of making gothic horrors because the real world's way too terrifying and crazy. Mm-hmm. Well, parallel to that is a Whitman-like serial killer driving around and shooting people from bell towers and things with rifles or industrial sites. One of the best horror films ever. And so, yeah, that's another aspect that makes this oddly little daft, nothing kind of episode feel really significant, because it points forwards and backwards to films that hadn't even happened yet.
Jesus, you got a lot out of that, man. I'm proud of you, because that's good.
Cheers.
That's good.
This is why I don't sleep. I sit here thinking about Targets and serial killers.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up with a discussion of Shayna's pick, Bride of Boogedy. Here is the original intro when it aired.
New Jeopardy fun Monday at 7 here on 7.
Oh my God, look at Alex Trebek.
Tonight on the Disney Sunday Movie, America's funniest family meets the world's goofiest ghost. It's Mr. Boogedy.
He's not coming back.
He is back.
What's that bonehead up to now?
He's scaring up laughs trying to hunt down a bride.
You guys stay here and protect the women. This is war.
My father was floating down the hallway last night.
How exciting.
Get ready for spirited family fun.
Just kidding.
In an all-new comedy, The Bride of Boogedy.
This could be fun.
fun for listeners.
Oh yeah, I want you to soak up all the nostalgia you can right now. Disney Sunday movies. So this was something that we were treated to for years.
Yeah.
And this is Michael Eisner coming down the stairs with Mickey and Minnie and Donald.
I'm in Mr. Boogedy's mansion with the Disney gang here to convince them once and for all there's no such thing as a ghost.
Goofy.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner, and welcome to the Disney Sunday movie. I was trying to explain that Mr. Boogedy is just a character in a movie. He's make-believe. He's not a ghost. His so-called mysterious cape was made in the studio's costume department. He has no mystical powers. Here, I'll show you.
Gee, Michael, you made Mr. Boogedy mad.
Yeah. There is no Mr. Boogedy. This is ridiculous. The guys in the special effects department are at it again. Mickey, call my office.
Okay, Mike.
Hey, get me down from here. Goofy.
Yeah.
Call the auto club.
Gotcha, Michael.
Someone's got to get me down by next week.
Of course.
Good night, guys.
Good night, Michael. Good night.
I like that you get that because this was a little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did he want them to call the auto club?
He needed help.
Because the auto club was going to come get him down.
Yeah, that's a good question, Amy.
Why is Michael Eisner introducing this and running Disney and not an extra in The Godfather 3?
He has a very...
I'm Michael Eisner, and I represent children's movie company, and I'm here to be charming, but I'm having a hard time. Look, it's a ghost. It's a very spooky ghost.
You want to know what's funny about that is like Michael Eisner for me was the face of Disney. Mm-hmm. Before I was a Disney fan, I didn't become like a Disney fan until I was in my 30s. But I did watch the Disney Sunday movies when they came on, especially when they were Halloween related.
Well, as a kid, you're legally obligated to watch the Sunday movie.
I love actually seeing I haven't seen the intro in so long, and that was delightful for me, which is funny. You would think that I would have, because I loved the Wonderful World of Disney and the Disney Sunday movie. I did not. Maybe I watched one of the Boogedy movies. I was so picky. I was such a bigger movie snob as a kid that I would not have been into, like, I would not have liked this. I mean, I didn't really like it now, but
no,
like,
it's not good.
I would not even as a kid have liked Mr. Boogedy because I would have thought it was too silly.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I thought it was actually scary as a kid. And
do you remember this, Freddy?
Oh yeah, I watched both Mr. Boogedy and Bride of Boogedy when they aired on TV. We didn't have a lot of choices.
Nope, we didn't. I probably did watch them, but I guarantee I would, like, I don't remember them and I wouldn't have liked it.
Ben, did you guys have a Disney Sunday movie?
We did, and I used to watch it all the time as well. I don't remember Michael Eisner at all, but watching him do that there was an odd familiarity there. So maybe we had even those intros. I know that I saw both this and the original Boogedy films when I was a kid, but I lucked out on seeing it now because Disney Plus doesn't have a free trial bail on them thing. And the YouTube copy I found was a 10-part VHS rip where only the last part available. So I watched the last 3.5 minutes of this and was like, Richard Masseur's clown outfit is giving me serious deja vu. I'm pretty sure I've seen this because weirdly I remember that clown outfit.
You didn't miss much.
No, you didn't miss shit.
I don't think I did. The main Disney one, I don't know if you remember this, but they did a couple of like music video specials. They did one for Valentine's Day as well. And it was clips from musical parts of Disney cartoons.
Oh, yes, I do remember that. Yeah,
but super cuts, like they did the rhythmic Sweet Dreams and did like a super cut of Disney clips that matched the music and everything. Mm-hmm. And the Halloween one was awesome, and it had a abbreviated version of Sleepy Hollow, and they had the Night from Bald Mountain.
The Night from Bald Mountain. Yeah, I do remember that. That was
I used to watch that. One. Yeah, I think that was hugely influential even on my taste in music and rhythms and styles. I used to watch that so
I'm gonna say so much. He said so much. Okay.
Yeah, they played like "You're No Good" during Night on Bald Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can still get that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now the thing, I do wish that something that was really neat about Disney Plus that they had this special on there for Disneyland or something, but it had the original commercial breaks in it. Which I'm not accustomed to seeing on like, a legitimate streaming platform. You'll see that stuff on YouTube,
Right.
but I kind of like having those elements still intact.
I do too.
Yeah, so I kind of would have liked to have seen Bride of Boogedy with all that there.
Bride of Boogedy is charmingly dumb.
Yeah.
It's arguably better than Mr. Boogedy.
Yeah.
It is definitely better than Mr. Boogedy.
Yeah.
Much like Bride of Frankenstein is better
Agreed.
than Frankenstein.
What I love about the parents, I love how hard Richard Mazer insists that Boogedy cannot
Right.
and will not and is not coming back when it is so obvious. Like Boogedy could be standing in the room pointing at him and he'd go, "Do you think Mr. Boogedy's coming back?"
What drives you nuts is this family went through this very like scary ghost experience already once.
Yeah.
Why can't you then go, I don't know, maybe this could happen again. Maybe I should believe my children since I almost got them murdered by a ghost.
They are the most like
Kelley brought it up. He says the parents don't give a shit about the kids.
They love each other. I love that. Like I love the mom and I love the parents' relationship. They have so much fun together. And like her as a character, I actually genuinely did like her goofy laugh. and
Oh,
everything.
she's fun.
I was like, is that Mimi Kennedy? Who is that?
Yeah, I think so. I can check for you though.
I would have watched a whole movie with that character.
Well, it's funny you bring it up because I wish that the parents cared as much about their children as they did about pranks.
Agreed.
Like the dad is gonna start his Gag City store.
Which you should know by now from the first movie that he didn't give up that dream.
Right.
But the opening, when their uncle visits, that's such an elaborate prank for no reason.
Yeah. No, it is. And I love that the uncle also completely falls for it.
Yeah.
Like, okay. You think that's you don't think that probably this is a joke.
His family spends all of their time pranking
And resources.
all their time and resources pranking each other or other people who are getting this store ready. And I'm like, I'm not sure you're nurturing your children.
Well, also he gets offered the job. I love the title they had for it, which was like head of the Whoopee division.
Yeah, head of Whoopee division.
And but he would have to move away from Lucifer Falls, which is this the same town from the first one? Do you guys remember?
I don't know.
I'm just trying to remember if this is like a new town or not. Because if it is a new town, it makes zero sense that they're running into
it's the
Mr.
same
Boogedy.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because I remember the sign at the beginning of Mr. Boogedy. It says like Lucifer Falls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
So also they recast Christy Swanson's character because she knew when to get out. But the thing is, if you think about this, I have a theory that Bride of Boogedy was the turning point in a bad way for the people who decided not to participate.
Yeah.
Because everyone else went on to have really great careers or continue. Like this was like a weird hiccup in otherwise stellar A-list acting careers.
Very.
Well, it was like everybody knew it didn't matter. I feel like everyone that was acting in this movie was just like, I'm going to give like 60%.
But that, well, you know, also Kelley, I'm sure we mentioned this when we did Mr. Boogedy, but I don't know if we've ever told Ben, but we went to high school with Richard Mazer's nephew.
Yes, bud.
And his dad looked exactly like Richard Mazer. The only difference is instead of like being in films and stuff, he was at home telling us not to cheat our toilet. Because I think he was a plumber at one point or something. But the thing I always remember is his dad would be like, you have to keep the high flow on the toilet. You can't get these economical low flow toilets because you're cheating your toilet, and that's why that's why your turds won't flush down.
Okay.
But if you just port that over to gags and joke products, it's basically the same.
Yeah, he's very passionate. He's as passionate about plumbing as the dad in this movie was about a jokes and pranks.
I also love how understated, like I said, Richard Mazer just looked like he wasn't trying for like being a hilarious guy.
No, he did try.
He delivers every line like this.
He did try when he was into the pranking and stuff, but when his kids were in danger, he was just like, oh no.
Well, I like when he's possessed by Boogedy and he's levitating down the hall.
That was actually That was actually a pretty good effect and moment.
It was
taken completely out of that movie. Like that could have been very creepy.
It reminded me of a moment from Modern Problems with Chevy Chase.
Yeah,
but I love that he's floating and he's like, just kidding.
Just kidding.
And he just keeps saying, just kidding. Like, this is all prank. Don't pay attention. Just kidding.
Okay, remind me, what is Mr. Boogedy's goal?
He wants to be... Wasn't he obsessed with a woman in the town?
Widow. Yeah, he wants to marry the widow Marion.
Yeah.
But
and for some reason, her spirit's nowhere to be found.
Yeah. But once he reunites with her, what does he want to do? Does he want to take over the town?
He wants to pick her up and carry her out of her office secretary meeting.
They don't ever. That's not. We don't get that far. He just wants her, and he needs to get his cloak back so he can do that. Ostensibly, and he just kind of shoots green lightning a lot and says "Boogedy."
But then you have a monkey wrench in this film that you didn't have in the first, which is Eugene Levy.
Who the best part of the movie, I felt.
Yeah, absolutely. He's usually, if he's in something, he's usually the best part of it.
Agreed.
I love Eugene Levy.
I do too.
But as the villain in this, he's really great. And he
works the eyebrows.
He's mad, right? He doesn't want the... I'm trying to remember what it is. He has the general store.
He owns the general store and he sells gags.
He sells second-rate gags that don't work. And he's getting worried that part of his business is going to be lost to the gag.
And he's jealous because what's his nuts? Richard Mazer is the mayor of the Lucy Fest.
And they make him mayor of Lucy Fest.
And that's what he had been.
So, what was the name of their... Was it the Gag Hole? What was the name of it?
Gag City.
Gag City.
The Gag Hole.
So
it was called Gag on It.
That's a different kind of store.
Woo! You want to know what's weird? Is I read the jacket when they first showed the jacket with the name.
I would wear that in a second.
You would.
It was a cool jacket. They like the windbreaker.
It reminds me of your Mickey Mouse jacket you bought at Disney World, right?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. I thought it said Gay City on the back of it.
I wear that too.
And I have no idea why my brain was like, that says Gay City, and then I'm like, wait, no, it says Gag City because the dad sells gags. But
I don't know why, Freddie,
ball
either.
Gags.
So
what's wrong with you?
Gags.
I'm having a really vague flashback to when I was on last. Did we get talking about the archetype of a small business owner as villain in 80s American films?
We may have.
But damn, you're not wrong.
I'm trying to remember the last episode you were on.
Where they're like, there's lots of films where it's a small business owner who's like, no, I got to get the store working. And he's like, it's a dad or an uncle or it's somebody like the neighbor or something. And nobody likes him because he's so hardworking and puts everything. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up.
It happens a lot in Lifetime movies.
Also, always a former SCTV member. It's always like John Candy or Eugene Levy or
Have you guys seen Cannibal Girls? He's the Ivan Reitman's first film.
Oh yeah.
No.
He's like Eugene Levy is super young and has a fro in it.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty good fun. Like if you want Canadian horror comedy weirdness with a super young Eugene Levy trying to be the leading heartthrob.
It sounds awesome.
I could be down for that.
It's great. It's really fun, but it doesn't quite work.
Yeah.
Ben, I think the last time you were on was The Hallow and Wake and Fright back in 2016.
Jeez, little Pete.
Can't believe it's been that long.
Wait, it seems even longer ago.
Yeah. Well, time doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
But
no, it's all melted.
It's a flat circle.
Another question I had is once Mr. Boogedy took over the body of Richard Mazer, why was he floating? And why did he blow up like a balloon?
Doesn't matter. Why are you asking?
Too, isn't it?
Because it's Bride of Boogedy.
Just Andy.
Because Boogedy. Remember, Boogedy also makes flowers.
Maybe because he's possessed by not the complete Mr. Boogedy, but he's being kind of controlled. But at the same time, Richard Mazer is like goofy dad. He's like silly dad. He's like prank dad.
Dingleberry dad.
So if he's going to do something creepy, it's going to be silly and funny and pranky. Maybe?
Well, when he starts laughing, it's much like, the burping in Willy Wonka. It starts bringing Boogedy down, and he starts bringing back his power, but he also makes Boogedy, and then he boogies. And then if you also stay tuned for the second boogies, and he's just kidding.
Doesn't matter.
That's one of my favorite blues songs, Bringing Boogedy Down.
Bringing the Boogedy down.
Really chill Saturday morning listen.
It's so weird the way the family is like, they told the family, especially the teen daughter, like, play this straight. Like, you're losing your dad. You're losing your dad to this Boogedy. And you're going to be...
feel like she was in a different movie.
Yeah.
She was trying so hard.
She was.
She was given 100%.
She could have been in, like, this could be a Lifetime movie for her.
Yeah. Or an after-school special.
Or an after-school special. And
about
then
your possessed parents.
And Richard Mazer is like, Boogedy. And she's over there like, oh, Daddy. He's like, Boogedy, just kidding, Boogedy. And then the mom's like,
she thinks everything is hilarious.
Yeah,
I love the mom. She's awesome.
And then I thought she was Frances McDormand at first.
No. They do have kind of a similar look.
I get why you think that.
I was like, damn, she's slumming.
Also, the daughter like walks like she has like a broom's handle stuck up her butt.
There's one scene where they're walking through town and she has like this really weird kind of gait. I didn't notice. I actually looked for it the rest of the time and I didn't see it.
Like maybe she was hurt.
It looked like she kind of walked like Boris Karloff in Route 66.
Yeah,
in at least one scene.
And she was wearing like this weird sweatsuit that was 3 sizes too big. It looked like one of those like exercise rubber running suits that had like they would pump hot air into them.
Oh, so you'd sweat.
Yeah.
Do you think it was because they were trying to just like keep her from being too like
sexualized?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, probably. They had learned their lesson from the 2 tight jeans they put on Christy Swanson and Mr. Boogedy, and they're like, we're not going to make the same mistake twice.
Yep.
So this time we're going to totally desexualize her.
Also, the kid from Harry and the Hendersons. I didn't realize.
The little boy.
Yeah.
And David Faustino and.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I saw this, for some reason, I thought it was based on a real American legend. I mean, I would have first seen this and I was like 5, probably. Yeah. So it's completely understandable that I had no idea.
Well,
you've got the Lake Champlain monster, you've got the Bell Witch, and you've got Mr. Boogedy.
Yeah. Those are all just as absurd.
Yeah, like it's not outside the realm of possibility to think that we would have something stupid like that.
Yeah, it's very much. It feels like a Salem kind of legend.
Yeah. I think I mean, it seems like
American history is great at turning white slave-holding genocidal psychos into figures of comedy horror.
So cute. He just wants his cape back.
Wouldn't that be funny if he was Master Boogedy and he had like he had slaves and stuff? Was he still like?
It turned out he was actually a progressive, and Richard Masur is a fucking right-wing like slave-wanting.
Oh my god!
This is what I'm saying. You just never.
My mind just exploded.
Way to juxtapose.
There were no black people in this movie.
Yeah, and he's wearing white with red dots on it.
Who does that?
Oh my god!
Monsters.
Just putting it together.
White supremacists, red for the blood of their enemies. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get into that sort of stuff.
This is like The Shining. It's actually about the Apollo 13.
Damn, you went to
Nazi
school.
moon landing.
Is this your thesis that you got your PhD
I think
in?
he's writing something right now.
When you get to the, I'm sorry, Kelley, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say when you get to the climax of this movie, at the gag hole, and we talked about this like this weird willingness to sacrifice the children as long as the parents are okay in this story.
Well, it's what Kelley was saying.
Yeah, they use the daughter in the climax as bait to get the mom back. And it's almost like they're
trading her off. They're like, we're going to give him our daughter so I can get my giggling wife back. So after all my jokes.
You have 3 kids, but you only have 1 wife.
Yeah.
So you have to weigh it out.
Andy just waving a knife around.
It's not real.
Yeah, okay.
On what Andy is saying there, like maybe this film's actually a lot deeper than we're given credit for. Maybe they were actually trying to really get into that colonial American mindset where it was, you had 10 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The daughter's just chattel. She's like another cow.
Okay, so Mr. Boogedy, he would trade his kids because he's got exactly.
Yeah.
Boogedy would have 10 kids and he'd trade one of them to save his wife. He's only got one good wife and she's a good wife.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
She's like secretary material.
She's born him 2 children, boy children.
We've got to we'll trade our kid. For, my wife's secretary material. I will trade it. Means keep my wife over Mr. Boogedy.
She's got wide hips.
Yeah.
So, the Eugene Levy character, this supports your theory, Ben. The Eugene Levy's character, Tom Lynch, says, "Oh God, I guess I was a little hasty. It's not like I was asking for their firstborn or anything."
Oh, deep.
But it's a girl, so it's not worth as much.
Right.
Jeez, cosmic lucked out.
Yeah, but it's funny you brought it. You said it's a climax, Freddy, but it didn't seem like a climax.
No,
the movie just ended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was like, here's the ending. Bye.
More of a premature ejaculation than a legitimate climax.
It just The ending just dribbles out.
Oh, you have no idea. If you try watching the ending as only a 3.5 minute YouTube clip, it is really abrupt. Yeah.
Wow, that really did just end.
In a clown costume, and then a gravestone glows weirdly in a butthole kind of way, actually. And it's over.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in this film.
Doesn't matter.
That's basically the most that happened.
Doesn't matter.
I also love the side characters real quick. I wanted to touch on that just sort of float in and out, but don't really, other than the psychic, the grave digger really doesn't do much of anything. Other than, he's got his ventriloquist dummy, but I can't remember that actor's name, but he's so great.
He's dead now. He was in Ghost.
Oh, yes. Schiavelli.
He was on The X-Files, the great episode from
He's in a million things.
Yeah. His
Humbug.
Yeah, he was in Fast Times. It's
Batman Returns.
Vincent Schiavelli.
Yeah.
That's it.
He passed away back in 2005.
A while ago, yeah.
But yeah, he was a really prolific character actor, 189 credits.
Kelley, you brought up these weird characters, and one I want to bring up is the Bride of Boogedy's child.
Oh yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah, the space pilgrim.
Mm-hmm. Some people call me a space pilgrim.
His outfit was a Puritan outfit, but it was made of silver. Mm-hmm. So he was this space child.
Oh, space
Maybe it's because he was in heaven.
Yes, I'm here to pick up some silver cowboy boots.
I'm here to... I can't even.
I get that now. I get that
we
joke.
Can fight, though.
Amy's finally watched Snuffbox, or at least most of it.
I need to send you guys White Disco Jesus.
White Disco Jesus?
I'll take one of those.
Is that drugs?
That's a film.
Oh, okay.
Is that drugs?
Yeah, it's a 1980s. A 1980. Well, it is in a way because it's the 1980s Italian Jesus disco musical.
Oh, that sounds excellent.
No, thank you. You know what?
With subtitles, he does have a dance number with a giant syringe in a cave.
Ben, can I say that the movies you recommend are the rare times that I go to IMDb and get no results?
I'm pretty sure it's White Disco Jesus, unless I'm going to total blank. But it's it's exactly what you think it is. It is White Disco Jesus, and the music is White Disco Jesus, and it has this great soundtrack. And I've already got it stuck in my head. It'll be there forever.
Yeah.
I don't know how to groove him.
Yeah. I have this weird thing with Richard Masur, Mazer.
I say Mazer.
And we always, the teachers would always pronounce Bud's name as Mazer, and he'd be like, "It's just Mazer."
Mazer.
I got it wrong. It's White Pop Jesus. Sorry, White Pop Jesus.
White Pop Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep, 1980. Disco Jesus comes back to Earth and takes on the mafia. It's very
Thanks,
good. No,
Jesus.
it's not. It's great though. I have this thing with Richard Masur where I have this mental image of him as a foam human being, of which there are thousands, and they just kind of fold him out and add water and then pop him into a film.
I feel like I understand this.
Yeah, then they recycle that one and they get the next one ready, and that's how he appears in films.
He's like a shrinky dink.
It's like, especially like I think it's partly seeing a bit of The Thing really young, because I didn't see The Thing in full till I was a teenager, but I saw like the one scene with him going, blah!
Yeah.
Maybe that just stuck in my brain. So now I picture Richard Mazur being pulled out of like cold freeze and set up to be an extra. And the fact that he's disappeared from cinema is honestly perplexing. I think the fridge must have broken down.
Did he die?
No, he's still working.
And I thought he was dead, because I think I'm just thinking, well, Stan killed himself. So Richard Mazur's dead.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
He's doing more TV, but also like indie films, like art house stuff.
I just had a weird moment. The wife in It that is going to jerk him off to perfect strangers. It's not played by his wife from Boogedy, is it?
No.
Yeah, but I know exactly why you think that, because I get that same feeling.
Yeah, they have a similar face, I think. I can picture that lady like perfectly in my head.
He pairs well with that face. It's like when they're picking a wine to go with pork or something, you know? They're like, oh, we need to bring in 80s mom face.
80s mom face.
80s mom face.
I'm looking up who played his wife, by the way. So why you guys?
Freddy Boogedy was harmless. Yeah, it's harmless.
Better. I did look to see how much time was left many times.
Yeah, I fell asleep during the first time we watched it yesterday, and I fell asleep again this morning when we were watching it. And so I've not seen those last 3 minutes, Ben, and you're ahead of me.
Oh, yeah. There you go. I feel
it's okay.
We didn't even see Boogedy until like an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
Up until that point, it was all pranks.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I was secretly happy when I discovered it wasn't actually on YouTube in full.
Yeah.
And this is
you did good for yourself.
This is no reflection on Shayna. Like Ben said, we've covered a lot of these specials already in these few years.
And I say, I am untouched as far as I know. This is a masterpiece because I loved both of these films when I was a kid and watched them heaps. So I can't.
I mean, based on some of the things you've recommended today, who the hell knows what you'd like and what you wouldn't, sir?
Yeah, it's pretty abstract.
There's no dancing Jesus, but I think you can find a lot of deeper meanings.
We did an episode on cars, and my co-hosts were like, "Oh, and what about with buses?" And I didn't even think of Speed. I was like, "Oh, what's that film? Supervan? No." And I was now I'm going blank on it. But there's a film called Supervan. I've got it on video somewhere around here. I still haven't watched it because it looks awful. But there's like a bus disaster film. And now I can't remember it. Yeah, there's like, because the disaster film cycle of the 1970s.
Oh yeah,
did a spoof one that is a bus. It's the first the big bus. Here we go.
Like Supertrain.
Yeah, 1976. And it's the first nuclear powered bus. And it's all these celebrities on it. It's going on its first journey and someone's trying to sabotage it. So it's like a spoofy satire film with a bus. And that was the first film I thought of when we started talking about exciting action bus films.
It sounds like Airplane 2.
Yeah,
you're always going to come from the left, never straight on.
Oh, I don't do it on purpose. It's just because my brain doesn't work properly.
He's just a broken man. It's okay. Yeah. We understand.
I'm like, in Piranha when what's his name from Sliders bites it and he's like, "Wet."
Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah.
T-shirt.
Penis.
I'm like that with shut on video. Shut on video.
But Shayna, thank you for suggesting this, because I needed to complete the circle from when I've seen Mr. Boogedy, and now I've seen what happens after you think you've defeated him.
Yeah. If nothing else, we can now say that we won't have to do this one again.
There you go.
Unless they make a third Mr. Boogedy movie.
God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the child of Boogedy?
Ooh, son of Boogedy.
Cult of Boogedy?
Booger of Boogedy.
Boogedy.
Chucky versus Boogedy.
Well,
upstairs down Boogedy.
Well, I'm surprised if this wasn't owned by Disney, then what's his name? Dark Sky Films could do like Boogedy versus Ginger Dead Man.
Yes.
Oh, you could do childhood
full moon features or whatever.
Mr. Boogedy,
the Headless Horseman versus
Charles
Mr.
Boogedy.
The Booger Dead Man has such a ring to it.
The bye bye, Mr. Boogedy Man.
Boogedy.
The bye bye man.
The bye bye man.
Oh,
Okay. We did it. We have completed another month of Halloween television specials. We've discussed and learned about how Australians handle Halloween, and I feel like I'm a better person for knowing that.
Hey, can you read this screen, Ben?
It's so fucking large.
We're gonna take this rare opportunity, if you don't mind.
Don't make him do stuff. This isn't his job.
Read this list because he has a wonderful Australian accent.
I see him.
So yeah.
Well, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I think
I could do it.
Okay.
So what am I reading out? Just the name?
Just
and
the first and last
These
name.
are our top supporters.
These are our Beelzebubs at the end of every show. We always say hi to them. We're going to have Ben do it for us because his accent is cool.
I'll try and not be a mumbly mouth.
You're gonna do
We
great.
have, thank you very much for supporting Night of the Living podcast, Ernest Perez, Alise Wallace,
my wife,
and Geletko.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Oh, this one is going to be difficult because it's cut off.
Jeremy
Burmeister and Cassie.
Team effort.
Yeah.
Mark Watts.
What's up?
Blake Heath. Bill Farner.
Bill.
Tree and Alex McNulty.
Tree told me to tell everyone hi today.
Hi, Tree.
Oh, hi, Tree.
Hi, Tree. Iona Goodwin.
Iona, great one. She's in your neck of the woods.
She's in your neck of the woods.
She's on your continent.
Oh yeah, totally. We hang out all the time. We catch kangaroos in the movies together all the time.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah, totally. Jeff L.
Jeff L.
Got Branan White H ...
Head. That's Branan and Emily.
Everybody becomes a ... Adam Ingram.
Hello, Adam.
Bill Chandler.
Yeah.
Mikorazan Mia ...
That's Monica.
Monica, who sent us a care package.
Oh, Monica sent us a care
thank
package.
you so much, Monica.
Thank you, Monica.
Freddie ate almost all the candy by himself.
Well, that's okay.
I had one of the ciders, and it was really good, and I gave the other cider to Mikey.
And
then we had the beer.
We had the sour. It was really good.
I'm real scared about the iced hard coffee. I'm not sure what to do with that.
I'm totally on board for that.
I'm worried that's going to cause bathroom situations, but we'll see.
Like the time I had cold brew and then I had to have an emergency race downtown to the
I
bathroom.
can't do cold brew either.
Yeah.
Do people need to know this? Do you guys need to know that? I can't do that.
It really opens the gates of perception if the gates of perception were your butthole.
My lockdown has been greatly improved by discovering the wonders of craft beer. Which Melbourne has tons.
Yeah.
I've discovered that I'm a massive weird sours and stout fan.
I love sours.
You had the sour.
Yeah.
I love stout.
I had one that it's called Waffle House. It was a blueberry pastry imperial coffee stout. No, coffee sour. Sorry, coffee sour.
That's like a whole breakfast.
Like imperial.
You licked your lips when you said that, Ben. Like that's how you can tell it's good when somebody can't talk about licking their lips.
Anything that says that it's got pastry in it. There was one there's a company called Moondog. It was in the crumble, the mighty crumble, berry sour, pastry berry sour, and it was like all the aftertaste was butterier and better than any pastry I've had in my life.
Oh man, I wish I could still drink that.
I don't know what I would do with that, but yes, thank you, Monica. You've opened my eyes to different types of beers because we are Ohio is so full of craft beer places. Like I only drink Ohio shit, and now I got Washington shit. Anyway,
I got one here from Rogue, which is in Portland, I think.
I think I've heard of
Squatch.
Oh yes,
beer is quite good. I like that. Plus a cool can. So, I've become totally addicted to all of that stuff. Probably to my negative, but one of the great things about craft beers is high alcohol content, so you can save time. It's just
you don't have to drink as many of them.
Listen,
like ostrich burgers.
My White Claw intake, because I like seltzer and it's just easier to drink that, and plus beer makes me feel full sometimes and makes me a little gassy. But anyway, I have been drinking so much White Claw during all of this. It's a lot of White Claw.
We probably both have substance abuse problems at this point.
What are you gonna do?
But
Australia definitely went, hang on, wait, we're renowned for having a problem with the alcohol. That makes us fine. Nobody asked anybody any questions. Nobody said anything. We're all just like, actually, I think it was one of our I think the Victorian chief health officer right at the beginning of it accidentally tweeted Dan Murphy opening times, which is our main our liquor chain. They like clearly meant to be searching in Google and tweeted Dan
and he tweeted it.
times, and all of Australia were like, "We love you, you're our new leader."
That's how hungover he was. He couldn't even see like what he was on. He was just typing by feel.
Does the Dan Murphy's open?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, I guess we should get back to this. That was
Did
Monica's
we- okay.
fault.
We did Bill Chandler.
Bill,
I know we did Bill.
We did Bill, but Bill should always get two.
Bill's
There you go, Bill.
Monica, and now
We've
we're
got
on
Monica, Blayne Turner.
Turn her around.
Kevin Korpi.
Hi,
Yeah.
Vegas.
That's another Brian. We got
Alyssa Boehm.
Yay.
Yeah.
We've taken to texting each other like
Alyssa.
we have a group text us, me,
Yeah.
Amy, and Alyssa, where we're like, "What are you eating and drinking tonight? What are you watching?" Which is fun.
Speaking of the Axiom sex cult,
Speaking of,
this is the Ohio
I'll join
food
that
cult.
one. Yeah, I'll join that one.
Exactly.
I think that's a great kind of cult to be in.
Yeah.
So, Andy, with your knife, are you going Crocodile Dundee? Because you don't have the hat or the vest. So,
Yeah, I just have a knife. I'm sorry. It was a tribute to you because you're Australian.
yeah.
It's a reminder that you're Australian.
Just in case you forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got empty beer cans near me, but nothing else particularly Australian.
I have empty coffee cups.
Woo.
Anyway.
Have any of you seen the fourth Crocodile Dundee film yet?
What?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't even think I watched the third one. I like the
didn't know
first
there was
one.
a third one.
I worked on the fourth one. I ran rushes for it.
Yeah?
And I like my job in my industry, so I'll just say you should watch it because you won't do anything else like it.
I get you.
Yeah, I didn't know
It's
there
pretty
was a third
amazing.
or
Like it'll
fourth
blow your
one.
mind. You'll be like, how did this get made?
Oh, that's right. The third one was Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles.
And this one's the very excellent Mr. Dundee, which is a meta comedy where Paul Hogan's playing himself, and he's an old fuddy-duddy who keeps accidentally getting in trouble in the media and looks like he's a bad dude, but he's just misunderstood.
Oh, it's like, have you seen Brockmire?
I haven't, no.
It's a comedy series with does tons of voices on The Simpsons. I forgot his name right now.
Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria.
Oh, yeah.
As a baseball announcer, it's one of the funniest TV shows maybe ever made. I think you
love Hank
definitely.
Azaria.
Have you seen it, Kelly? Brockmire?
No,
It's a similar concept to what you've described. It's like he
Yeah.
has a meltdown on air, and it's about him piecing his life back together. But it's just so funny. Now, Mr. Dundee.
Yeah, very excellent, Mr. Dundee.
The very
Dundee.
excellent Mr. Dundee.
They shot it almost entirely here in Melbourne and
Nope. You can do it. You can do it.
in LA into Melbourne bits. Oh,
I
we still
love
there?
you've got
Yes,
we
we got
lost you for just a second, but I noticed you have Mel Gibson, Luke Hemsworth, Chevy Chase,
Mel Gibson. A boo.
Wayne Knight,
John Cleese.
John Cleese, Reginald Vale
what's
Johnson.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I have worked on a project with Reginald Val Johnson. You can touch me if you need
That
to.
is so cool. I love that guy.
It's funny that you mentioned Wayne Knight because you have a Wayne Knight kind of moment on the Origins we're going to discuss.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of Wayne Knight kind of moments in my life, like
I
being
think it's the
mistaken for
Origins.
Wayne Knight
That's
at
so
Disney
upsetting.
World.
But anyway.
What's the Origins thing? Is that you going back and listen to old episodes?
Yeah.
or-
Yeah, we
Yeah.
record a commentary. It's for the patrons, and it's an intro. We listen.
It's a reckoning with things we've said in the past that we
Yeah.
shouldn't have.
Oh yeah, I bet.
It's a little time capsule. It's fun. So
yeah. If you
'cause I
want to
listen-
stick around for that, we're going to record the intro after this.
Oh, I may well do that. I might have duck off to the loo though.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah.
What episode are you doing? Let's see if it's one I remember.
Ep 115. This is my return for the last of Stephen King month.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember this one.
All right. So
2008.
we'll get this
Yeah.
thing done here. If you're a patron, you get access to Origins. Again, patreon.com/NOTLP if you want to be part of that. Thank you so much for joining us. Ben.
Thank you so much.
Very fun.
Thanks for having me. It's been great to be here as always.
Good day.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Go hit the John if you need to, folks.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to